Picture this. You've worked your entire life for one moment. The envelope opens. Your name echoes through the Dolby Theater. The crowd erupts. But there's one problem. You're not there. You'll never be there. Because just weeks, days, or even hours before this moment, you died. Today, I'm taking you through the bittersweet stories of 29 talented artists who won Hollywood's highest honor, but never got to hold that golden statue in their hands. Number 1. Sidney Howard, 1940, the first. Our story begins in 1940 with a writer named Sidney Howard. And his story? It starts with one of cinema's greatest films ever made. Sidney Howard was the brilliant mind behind Gone with the Wind. Yes, that Gone with the Wind. The epic. The masterpiece. The film that would go on to win 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. But here's the tragedy. Sidney never saw his screenplay win. On August 23, 1939, just months before the Oscars ceremony, Sidney was at his farm in Massachusetts. He was working with a tractor when something went horribly wrong. The machine crushed him. He died instantly at age 48. 5 months later, at the 12th Academy Awards, Gone with the Wind swept the ceremony. When they announced Best Screenplay, Sidney Howard's name rang out. His family stood to accept. The audience gave a standing ovation. But Sidney's chair remained empty. He became the very first posthumous Oscar winner in history. A tragic honor that 28 others would later share. Sidney poured his heart into adapting Margaret Mitchell's novel, crafting Scarlett and Rhett's unforgettable dialogue. His words live forever on screen, even though he never got to celebrate his greatest triumph. Number 2. Peter Finch, 1977, the first actor. Fast forward to 1977. The stakes are about to get even more personal, because this is when an actor wins posthumously for the very first time. Peter Finch was a legend. Born in London, raised in Australia, this man could command a screen like few others. He had piercing eyes, that incredible voice, and raw, electric talent. By the 1970s, he'd earned respect as one of the finest actors of his generation. Then came Network. Sidney Lumet's blistering satire about television news. Peter played Howard Beale, the mad prophet of the airwaves who famously screams, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore." The performance was volcanic. Intense. Unforgettable. Critics knew immediately, this was Oscar material. But on January 14, 1977, Peter Finch collapsed in the lobby of the Beverly Hills Hotel. Massive heart attack. He was just 60 years old. The Oscar nominations hadn't even been announced yet. 2 months later, at the 49th Academy Awards, Peter's name was called for Best Actor. His widow Elitha walked to the stage, tears streaming down her face. She held that Oscar tight and said simply, "There's no way to really thank you for what you've given Pete. He would have been so proud." Peter Finch became the first actor to win posthumously. And for 32 years, he'd be the only one, until a certain Joker came along. Number 3. Heath Ledger, 2009. The tragic icon. January 22, 2008. New York City. A housekeeper enters an apartment in Soho and finds Heath Ledger unconscious on his bed. Prescription pills scattered nearby. By the time paramedics arrived, it was too late. Heath was gone. He was just 28 years old. The world was shocked. Heath Ledger wasn't just another Hollywood actor. He was magnetic. From his breakout in 10 Things I Hate About You to his heartbreaking performance in Brokeback Mountain, Heath had range that most actors only dream of. But his final completed role? That was something else entirely. As the Joker in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, Heath didn't just play a villain. He became chaos incarnate. The makeup, the voice, that terrifying laugh. He locked himself in a hotel room for weeks, diving deep into madness. He kept a diary as the Joker. He disappeared into the role so completely that it haunted him. When The Dark Knight was released 6 months after his death, audiences were stunned. This wasn't just a great performance. This was transcendent. Revolutionary. The Joker that would redefine superhero films forever. At the 81st Academy Awards in 2009, everyone knew what was coming. When they announced Best Supporting Actor, Heath's parents and sister walked to the stage. His father Kim said through tears, "This award tonight would have humbly validated Heath's quiet determination to be truly accepted by you all here, his peers, within an industry he so loved." Heath Ledger's Oscar sits in a case, a golden reminder of genius gone too soon. He made us believe in monsters, and we'll never forget him. Number 4. Howard Ashman, 1992. Disney's heartbreak. Let me tell you about the man who saved Disney. Yes, saved. And his story will absolutely wreck you. Howard Ashman was a lyrical genius. In the 1980s, he partnered with composer Alan Menken to create Little Shop of Horrors. It was quirky, funny, and showed Howard's gift for words that sang. Disney noticed. They hired Howard and Alan to write songs for an ambitious project, The Little Mermaid. The result? Magic. Under the Sea, Part of Your World, Kiss the Girl. These weren't just songs. They were the blueprint for the Disney Renaissance. In 1989, Under the Sea won the Oscar for Best Original Song. Howard was on top of the world. But 2 days after that win, he confided in Alan Menken with devastating news. He had AIDS. This was 1989. AIDS was a death sentence. But Howard didn't stop. He couldn't. He had one more Disney film in him, Beauty and the Beast. Even as his body weakened, Howard wrote, "Belle, be our guest," the title song that would become one of Disney's most beloved. He poured everything he had left into these lyrics. On March 14, 1991, Howard Ashman died at age 40. Beauty and the Beast hadn't even been released yet. When it premiered that November, it was a phenomenon. The first animated film nominated for Best Picture. And when Howard's partner Bill Loach accepted the Oscar for Best Original Song, the dedication at the end of the film hit differently. To our friend Howard, who gave a mermaid her voice and a beast his soul. Howard Ashman's words still sing in millions of childhoods. He gave us magic, even as he was fading away. Number 5, Walt Disney, 1969. The Legend's Last Honor. You know the name. Everyone knows the name. Walt Disney. The man who built an empire. The dreamer who created Mickey Mouse, Snow White, Disneyland. The genius who changed entertainment forever. But here's something you might not know. Walt Disney won an Oscar after he died. December 15, 1966. Walt Disney passed away from lung cancer at age 65. A lifetime of chain smoking had finally caught up with him. The world mourned. An era ended. But Walt's work? That continued. In 1968, Disney Studios released Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, a charming animated short featuring everyone's favorite bear. It was pure Disney magic, sweet, funny, beautifully animated. At the 41st Academy Awards in 1969, the short won Best Animated Short Film. Walt Disney's name was called one final time. His widow Lillian wasn't there to accept, but the award went to his studio, his legacy, his dream that refused to die. It was Walt's 32nd Oscar win. 32. A record that still stands today. Even in death, Walt Disney was still winning. His theme parks thrived. His films continued. His company became a global giant. And that final Oscar? It proved what we already knew. Walt Disney's magic was immortal. Number 6, Conrad Hall, 2003. The cinematographer's final masterpiece. Conrad Hall was the master of light and shadow. Born in Tahiti, he became one of Hollywood's greatest cinematographers. He won Oscars for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and American Beauty. The man knew how to make a film breathe. In 2002, he shot Road to Perdition, Sam Mendes' gorgeous crime drama starring Tom Hanks. The film looked like a painting. Every frame was art. Rain-soaked streets. Stark shadows. It was Hall at his absolute peak. But Conrad never saw the finished film. On January 4, 2003, he died of bladder cancer at age 76. 2 months later, at the 75th Academy Awards, Conrad Hall won his third Oscar for Best Cinematography. His son, Conrad W. Hall, also a cinematographer, accepted the award. The standing ovation lasted minutes. Conrad once said, "Cinematography is infinite in its possibilities, much more so than music or language." He proved it. Every single frame. Right until the end. Number 7, Jeffrey Unsworth, 1981. Death on Set. This one hits different because Jeffrey Unsworth died while making his Oscar-winning film. Jeffrey was a British cinematography legend. He shot 2001, A Space Odyssey, Cabaret, and Superman. The man understood visual storytelling like few others. In 1979, Roman Polanski hired him to shoot Tess, a period drama set in rural England. It was gorgeous work. Sweeping landscapes. Delicate lighting. Classic Unsworth. But on location in France, Jeffrey suffered a heart attack. He died at age 64, with the film unfinished. French cinematographer Ghislain Cloquet stepped in to complete his work. When Tess premiered, critics raved about the cinematography. At the 53rd Academy Awards, both Unsworth and Cloquet were nominated. They won. Jeffrey Unsworth's family accepted his Oscar, knowing he gave his life for his art. Literally. Number 8, Sam Zimbalist, 1960. Ben-Hur's missing producer. Ben-Hur. 1959, the biggest, most expensive film ever made. 11 Oscars, including Best Picture. But the man who produced it never saw it finished. Sam Zimbalist was a Hollywood veteran. He'd produced King Solomon's Mines and Quo Vadis. MGM trusted him with their massive gamble, a $15 million epic about a Jewish prince in ancient Rome. The production was grueling. Months in Rome. Thousands of extras. That legendary chariot race. Sam oversaw everything. On November 4, 1958, during production, Sam Zimbalist had a heart attack and died. He was 54. The film was still being shot. His widow Mary was in Rome when it happened. The crew was devastated, but they finished the film in Sam's honor. When Ben-Hur swept the Oscars in 1960, winning 11 awards, a record that stood for 38 years, Mary Zimbalist walked to the stage to accept Best Picture. She held that Oscar and said, "Sam would have been so proud." The film's end credits read, "A Sam Zimbalist production." His final triumph. Number 9, Victor Young, 1957. 22 nominations, 1 win. Imagine being nominated for an Oscar 22 times. 22 times. And never winning. Not once. That was Victor Young's career. He was a brilliant composer. He scored over 300 films. Shane. The Quiet Man, For Whom the Bell Tolls. His music was everywhere. Nominated again and again. But the Oscar? Always just out of reach. Then came Around the World in 80 Days in 1956. Victor wrote a sweeping, adventurous score. It was magnificent. Critics loved it. He was nominated again. But on November 10, 1956, Victor Young suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and died. He was 56 years old. He never knew if he'd finally won. At the 29th Academy Awards, they opened the envelope for Best Original Score, Victor Young. After 22 nominations, 23 years of trying, Victor Young finally won his Oscar. His family accepted through tears. The ultimate bittersweet victory. He deserved it. He just deserved to be there. Number 10, William A. Horning, 1959 and 1960. The double winner. Here's something unique. William Horning is the only person to win 2 posthumous Oscars. Horning was MGM's legendary production designer. He worked on The Wizard of Oz, Singin' in the Rain, over 200 films. His sets were spectacular. In early 1959, Horning completed designs for 2 massive MGM productions, Gigi and Ben-Hur. Both were visual spectacles. Both were Oscar contenders. On March 2, 1959, William Horning died suddenly of a heart attack. He was 54. At the 31st Academy Awards in April 1959, Gigi won Best Art Direction, Horning's first posthumous Oscar. 1 year later, at the 32nd Academy Awards, Ben-Hur won Best Art Direction, Horning's second posthumous Oscar. 2 years. 2 wins. Both after death. William Horning sets live forever on screen. A double legacy carved in gold.